All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you all coming today. This is our second press conference of today. Earlier, we announced plans toward our weeks of service, where Louisville is cementing its location as the most compassionate city in America, and we're demonstrating that through tens of thousands of people doing community service, volunteer service. So that was a good announcement for this morning. And then today we're gathering to talk about our Metro Animal Service journey. And during the campaign, which doesn't seem that long ago, one of the things that I decided to take on was to see how we could improve our Metro Animal Services for the community. I'd received lots of feedback from animal welfare groups that really drastic change needed to be made. Now, they said, Greg, if you decide to take that on, you have to understand one thing. I said, what could that be? He said, we are a community that's filled with passionate people. I said, well, passion sounds good. I mean, that's what you got to do to change things. So, boy, have I learned about the passionate people in the animal community. So, wonderful folks that really have strong beliefs in how things should be done. So part of this process has been interesting to see how people work with each other, interact with each other, sometimes on the same page, sometimes not on the same page, but I'm certainly confident that we'll be able to get there for the good of our community, both humans and animals. Now, we had a lot of citizens help us throughout the process with the review, with the management recommendations, et cetera. And I want to ask Jim Bramall, who's the vice president of the Louisville Water Company, also was a key player on the management review committee and on the spot board, to say a few words before I introduce our new team. Jim?
Good afternoon. Well, as the mayor said, as a member of the committee that performed the management review of Metro Animal Services, and also as an individual who has gotten to know Justin Scally and learn of his accomplishments, about his passion for animal welfare, just about his diverse background in the industry, I'm extremely pleased that he has decided to make Louisville his home and to take on the task of transforming Metro Animal Services. For those of you who read the committee's report, you're aware that there are a multitude of issues that are currently facing the organization. However, I'm confident that with this new leadership that Justin is bringing in with himself and a whole new team, we're on our way to becoming the type of organization that this community desires and that the animals in our community deserve. Today's a milestone, and I have hope because the turnaround begins now. Justin, as I said, brings with him a history of proven accomplishments in leadership. He's had a lifelong passion for animals, and I'm confident that he is building the strong team that he needs to go successfully through this transformation. I'm also confident that he will quickly gain the confidence of MAS staff and also of the community. And finally, I just want to commend the mayor and Sadiqa and all of the individuals, countless individuals who have been involved in this process. I feel very strongly that it was handled in a thoughtful, flexible, and very deliberate manner. And I know that this issue has held the highest priority, as the mayor said. So I think this is a very hopeful day for MAS, and I thank you.
All right. Well, after a national search and many hours of thoughtful consideration over many months by many people, I'm very pleased to announce the hiring of Justin Scally as the new Director of Metro Animal Services. Welcome, Justin. Justin lives in Maryland and is currently the Interim Director of Disaster Services at the Humane Society of the United States, where he responds to national disasters such as the recent tornado in Joplin, Missouri, wildfires in Arizona, and he helps rescue pets, obviously, and animals in danger. Not a job for someone that doesn't have patience or is faint of heart. He's also supervised and managed the agency's national effort to combat illegal animal operations and led rescue teams to save dogs bred in puppy mills. What impressed our team about Justin was his lifelong commitment to animal welfare, starting as a vet tech as a teenager. He's been promoted time and time again because he's a good leader. He's the former director of the Wayne County Department of Animal Control in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where he helped construct a new $2 million national animal adoption and education center. Now, when we began to look into Justin's background, we received nothing but positive and even glowing remarks about his compassion and leadership style. I said, now look, some people are going to look at Justin and say, he's a young guy. Is he up for this thing? And I said, well, look, when I was your age, I was running the company, so certainly he's up for it as well. But let's check the references to see what they say as well, okay? And time again, your references are amongst the strongest that we've ever received in Metro government. Glowing remarks about his compassion, about his leadership style, about his team-building abilities, an impressive history of promotions, and being an outside-the-box thinker. In fact, in the short time that we began to consider him, he was promoted again from manager of the Puppy Mill Task Force to interim director of disaster services. We wanted a leader who had demonstrated a record of advancement and innovation and who had the drive and passion to transform Metro Animal Services to make it the best animal agency in America. We had a great group of community experts interview the two finalists for the job. I'd like to thank those people from the community outside of government who interviewed Justin and also were impressed by him, including Jim Bramall, who we just heard from, Vice President from the Louisville Water Company, and who oversaw our animal welfare review. Allison Woosley, over here, Allison, thank you, animal advocate, and also part of the review team, and Terry Cardwell, who couldn't be here today, longtime animal advocate, member of the Spot Board, and owner of Parallel 38 in St. Matthews. So our team is enthused with Justin's experience, his compassion, his passion about animals, and also about the team that he's going to be announcing as well. This is not just one person. We're announcing a team of people to go with the outstanding individuals at MAS who are committed to making our animal shelter the best in the country. So we're convinced we've got the right person, the right team, and the right approach to get after this. Now, I want to proactively address a concern that started with me relative to some of the policies of the Humane Society. This is the last organization that Justin will be coming from, including the organization pushing for limiting the use of rats in medical research. It's interesting when you're mayor how you get criticized for anything. I never thought I'd be criticized for rats in medical research. But the Humane Society has some views that are not related to how we're going to be running our animal shelter here at all. So I see those as just kind of out of the mainstream concerns that are not going to be affecting our running of the animal shelter in any way. Justin comes to our city with no agenda other than improving Metro Animal Services and working toward our goal of becoming a community in which no adoptable animal is euthanized. That's the goal, that's the agenda, that's that. Great. Justin's going to bring a new level of energy to our city as well. He's moving here with his wife and child, and will join the city in our culture of innovation and compassion. Now, as everybody knows, we've got a lot of work to accomplish to develop a shelter and adoption program that's among the best in the world. This is not going to be an overnight fix to our multifaceted issues, but I have zero doubt that we will make good progress and we will fix any problems that we have. As the public, animal advocates, and animal care groups get to know Justin and the team he's about to introduce, there's going to be growing enthusiasm in the community for his vision, his ability, and our future at Animal Services. Now, we need your help. We need your all's help. I know that the Animal Services world, Animal Welfare Group, is made up of deeply passionate people. And as I mentioned at the beginning, they're not always on the same page, and that's not unusual for any group of passionate people. But now is a time, as the community of animal welfare groups take a look at where we're going, to say, okay, a decision has been made. The city took this on. We're going to make it better. So regardless of what my position is, what I might personally feel, our commitment is to the city and the animals of the city, and that supersedes any individual agenda. So I ask everybody that's passionate about this issue to help the city achieve our goal, get behind Justin and his team as we improve Metro Animal Services. So I'm really delighted to have Justin here with us today. So please welcome to Louisville, Justin Scally.
Thank you all for coming today. You know, it's a truly amazing day. It's the beginning of a wonderful journey for the citizens and animals of Louisville Metro, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy that everyone's here and is interested in this very passionate issue. Fundamentally, our mission is clear at Animal Services, and that's to protect public health and safety. We are to ensure the humane treatment of animals and provide quality customer service to the public. However, the responsibility that Animal Services has for the citizens of this community doesn't just stop there. Our team is committed to life-saving initiatives and making that a priority for Animal Services. We're committed to the implementation of innovative pet retention programs, progressive adoption programs, aggressive outreach programs, and spay-neuter promotion. We are also committed to building strong community partnerships which will benefit the animals of this city. Furthermore, we will thoroughly review policies and procedures to ensure that they are in line with our vision and mission to protect public safety and to ensure the humane treatment of animals at Louisville Metro Animal Services. Our team is committed to a certain kind of success, a kind that is only attainable by having everyone in Louisville involved. We have to work together. This is a community issue. This is a community agenda that we're working on to help solve this issue. Our team will engage the community and our partners and citizens within Louisville Metro to help the voiceless animals of this community and to help progress our agency into the agency it needs to be. We will make it into an agency that we all expect. Louisville Metro will be an aggressive animal services agency that we can all be proud of. To help us in this mission, we have identified two key players who will be members of the Animal Services Executive Management team. First, we had Donald Robinson, right here, who has been... Donald has been selected to serve as the Assistant Director of Operations at LMAS. And Donald comes to Louisville Metro with extensive background in positive change management as well as business, and he is also an honored military veteran. So we welcome him. In addition, we are making another announcement to our executive team at LMAS today, and that is Margaret Brosco. Margaret is a former news reporter and is currently a manager at Metro Parks. She will be transferring to Metro Animal Services, where she will serve as the Senior Manager of Special Initiatives and Communications. She will oversee volunteers, she will oversee adoptions, outreach, events, and many of our innovative programs that we plan to implement at LMAS in the next coming months and weeks as we make these changes. Change will take time at LMAS, but I can assure you that this compassionate, forward-thinking team is committed to the success of Animal Services. And we hope that the community will join us in this challenging mission and journey to help make this a success for all the animals and all the citizens of Louisville Metro. Thank you.
Before we take any questions, if there are any, I'd like to recognize Tina Ward-Pugh, my colleague on the Metro Council, for being here. And I'd like to thank Tina for your help on the interview team throughout this process as well. Thank you. And then Sadiqa Reynolds has done a yeoman's job throughout this whole process. So a lot of folks involved in a lot of different ways, a true community effort, and now let's make the solution one as well. So we're happy to take any questions if there are any.
Mr. Mayor, you talked about Mr. Scally being young, but I just noticed in his resume here, he's so young he actually lists his high school, and he graduated in this century. You're talking about a guy who's 26 years old, does not have a college degree. What about running a large agency like this one, a multi-million dollar agency where he's going to be in charge of a lot of people?
Well, number one, I don't think it's that young. Part of the problem with Louisville sometimes is like, this person's too young to do this, or that person's too young to do that. That's bunk. When I was 26 years old, I was running an organization that was larger than this. Justin has been in this for a dozen years, started when he was 14. So don't discriminate against the guy because he's young. What we need now is vision and energy and a team. He's selected this team to work with him as well. And you got to have domain expertise in animal welfare. Clearly, he's head and shoulders above all the other people that we looked at for this job. So we're excited to have somebody here that has the energy and the passion and the domain expertise to get that done. Just like any city agency, there'll be people assisting him. He'll report directly to Sadiqa. He'll be part of our management team, so there'll be plenty of people around to help, just like anybody can.
Administration has been fully transparent about this process?
Have we been fully transparent? I think we've reached new levels of transparency in most everything that we're doing. It's hard to achieve everybody's definition of what transparency is. When you're recruiting and interviewing people around the country, there's a certain amount of discretion that needs to take place with that. Certainly we asked the public to do a review of animal services that you've seen that was particularly critical. We put that online. We had nothing there. We had a review team of citizens as well participate in this. So I feel like we're opening up government to new levels that haven't been done before. I know that some people are never going to think that's enough, but I'm pleased with our levels of transparency there.
We're hearing that from some of these animal groups that they were not involved in this process and that these interviews actually took place while the bid process was still going on, and they did not have input into this decision. What about that?
Well, we've had a large amount of people in our animal groups, animal welfare throughout the community involved. I mean, you see dozens of them here today. In any group of, where there's a large amount of people, you're going to have views that might be off-center, so we appreciate that there. Well, a question was raised yesterday about June 6th, 8th, when we were interviewing people while we had an RFP on the street for a third party. Before those people were interviewed, they understood that they might be interviewing for the job of animal control director because we were still going to be keeping animal control, as you might recall, regardless of whether or not we had a private partner help us out with this. So I feel fine on where we're at. But part of our challenge is we open up all these processes in levels that have not been done before. Some people don't think it's enough. I certainly think it's more than it's ever been done before.
But you had two committees initially committed to reviewing applicants. One was going to narrow the field to 6. The other was going to interview those 6 and recommend 3 to you. What happened to that first group, that first committee that was going to review the applications and the applicants?
What happened to them?
Right. I mean, you disbanded the search for a new director, put out the RFP, the RFQ on May 12th. On May 25th, Kentucky Humane Society said they wouldn't put in a bid. On June 27th, you said you were going to reignite the search for a director. These interviews happened on June 6th. So I guess my question is, did that first committee review any of the applicants and make any sort of recommendations in terms of narrowing the field?
To be quite frank, the first committee did review applications, and if you all will recall, the first time we posted the position, we had it posted with the requirement of a college degree. And then we reposted it and took that requirement out because the committee considered that there were people out there that had experience. Justin Scally was one of them in that original pack, and then there were other people as well. So the committee, so we had those review team, the rescue teams that were present on that committee. We all made a decision that we should remove that requirement, and we did that. The job was posted, and the RFP went out. the question then became, what will we be left with? Will we be left with animal control? And if we are, do we have someone in-house that is going to be able to take us to the next level, or do we need to look for a director for animal control? And so we said we needed to do both things. And so we talked, and we had some of those same people who were engaged in the review process, or in the new search that was conducted. So it was a simultaneous thing.
Can you confirm Becky Ryder was one of the two finalists?
I'm not going to confirm that. I don't really like to get into the personnel stuff, but you can always talk to somebody in HR for that.
Mr. Mayor, for almost 7 full months now, you've enjoyed really no criticism at all from across the street, including from Republicans who said that you've done a very positive job up until this point. Our understanding is that's going to change today. Councilman Downer has made it very clear that this was not the choice he wanted, and he's going to be very vocal about that. Your response to that?
Well, everybody is free to have an opinion. We've been involved in this process all along. As I said, anytime you get involved with any type of passionate area, you're going to have views that are toward the center, views that are out of the mainstream. What's important to me is that we have a team that can develop a good animal shelter. I would suggest to anybody that wants what's best for animals in the community now to ask themselves the question, how can I help? It doesn't do any good to criticize. We're moving in this direction. So let's see how we can do that as a community, and things will take care of themselves.
Can we have more clarity on the final group that made the decision to hire? Who exactly was in that group, how many people, and what separated Joplin from the other people who were involved?
Yeah, well, so ultimately Sadiqa and Ellen Hessen, who's my chief of staff, made a recommendation to me. They came back with an additional recommendation of building a team. That's a team of 3 that you've seen here as well, so we could more holistically address some of the challenges here.
So it was a 5-person team, a 6-person team that made the final determination?
And ultimately it's 1. Yeah.
I was going to say, Mayor, you had talked about hoping to have this position filled by April. It's now the end of July. Do you think that any criticisms out there that the delay in this shows a lack of leadership on your part are fair?
You know, what you've got to do in business or the media is you deal with situations as they evolve. Sometimes they move more quickly, and you can beat deadlines. Other times, you know, life happens and things don't work out per your plan. So the important thing to me is that you continue to work toward the goal. And our goal still is, and always has been, to make sure that we've got a great solution. So I'm never going to be in a hurry to make a bad decision. And that sometimes the people want to say, you said you would make a decision by X date. Well, if it's not what's best for the city, guess what? I'm not going to make the decision. And we're going to hold off until we got a viable approach that meets our original goal. So I would hope people would want a leader that's reflective and is focused more on the goal rather than meeting a specific timeline.
Can we ask Mr. Scally?
She has.
Go ahead.
Animal welfare, some other animal welfare agencies are concerned that Mr. Scally has high utilization rates when he was director of Louisville County. And I know that's been a point of contention with Metro Animal Services and there's a top to bottom review audit. So with that in mind, are you comfortable with what he's going to bring here to Metro Animal Services as far as the young animal service?
Well, certainly. As you know, our goal is to have animal welfare system, an animal shelter where no adoptable pet is euthanized. Now, that's a journey. There's a few cities in the country that have been able to achieve that. The vast, vast majority has not. So that's a noble goal that we're going to work very diligently to. As Justin mentioned earlier, this is a multifaceted solution as well, from adoption to spay and neuter, partnerships within the community. That's why I'm so pleased that we have so many partners here today. This is not going to be an overnight fix, but we've got a plan and a direction. We've got the review document put together by the review committee. There's national levels of standard for operating animal shelters that we can follow as well. So we've got a great program and process and direction, a great team, a great group of community supporters as well. So the key now for us all is to get to work and make this happen. So we appreciate you all being here today. Thank you.
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro government.